Hello and welcome to When Wagon Wheels Were Bigger, the podcast that knows exactly what Willis was talking about. My name's Martyn French.
And I'm Mark Palmer.
And what we do, if you haven't listened before, is we basically watch old 80s kids TV, usually the first episode if we can, and just critique it. If that's an apt word for what we're doing, probably not. That's a bit posh for what we're actually doing, which is just taking the piss.
And then talking about things that are not relevant to it.
Mostly, yeah, it does turn into very much an off-topic conversation.
Therapy session.
And therapy session for Mark, mostly, which is always fun for me.
Why is it spitting at me?
Just some flashbacks there from other traumatic events that we've made him remember. This episode, we are watching I hesitate to say classic, animated series, Legend of Zelda, which was part of, well, according to the video we're watching, I didn't remember, part of the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, which has got one of the worst intros ever. But we're going to watch the version that shows the full intro and ending from that.
So did this include Captain N? Or was that later?
I think that was its own thing, wasn't it?
I thought that was part of
maybe it was
Mario Hour. Because these shows are only like 15 minutes. If it was Mario Power Hour, then it must have been included, surely.
It could have been. I remember them individually. I remember liking it, but not really knowing any of the game references.
Well, I didn't know who
the Game Boy.
I didn't really know who Kid Icarus was. I've never ever played a Kid Icarus game. I wouldn't know what the games are like. Captain N, was he just made up for the show?
I think so, yeah.
There was an eggplant person. Mega Man I'd heard of because playing on the Game Boy.
One of the hardest friggin' games I've ever played as a kid. I loved it.
You could play any of the old versions of Mega Man. It's damn hard. Yeah. Damn hard game. Games were harder then.
I remember
we were tougher.
I only ever, after a while, played it on sort of the last level where everything was unlocked because a games magazine had the code that you put in because it was like a grid code system, wasn't it, where you put dots in a grid and just
that's what I did.
Just cheated to the end.
I think I borrowed while you were visiting once. I borrowed your Mega Man cartridge, and that's the only way I could do it as well. It's when you'd moved back.
Okay.
Because I seem to remember a Legend of Zelda thing. We were both playing the Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening at the same time on the Game Boy, which is still one of the best games I've ever played, I think.
It is. It's one of the best Zelda games, definitely.
I had an emulator of it on my PSP and I was trying to do it again, but the emulator kept sticking. Do you remember there's a bit where you've got to kind of, there's a whole load of a field or something like that, or earth, and you have to dig it up to try and find something.
Yeah.
And it kept glitching back, so when I came back, I had to dig it again, and it's some sort of glitch on it, which is a shame because I was really getting into it.
Because isn't in that game, isn't that where you have to you can either spend days and days collecting rupees from the grass to get the shovel, or you can just run rings around the shopkeeper with the shovel in your hand and escape with it shoplifting. Yeah,
which is what I did, I seem to remember.
And then everybody calls you thief after that, and the next time you go in the shop you get fried by his magic powers.
Yeah, that is
which is a nice touch.
It is a nice touch, and there's little things like that in the Zelda games that make them great. But it's just the music in the incredibly 8-bit music. Not as good as our theme tune, obviously, but the Song of the Windfish, is it?
Yeah, because
it's really kind of sad, and then
it's
the
all
whole
about
dream
music
thing. Yeah,
that game, isn't it? Because you're collecting instruments and creating the song that will wake the windfish. Not to spoil the game for anybody who hasn't played it, because you really should. If you've got a Game Boy emulator or an old Game Boy, and you can get hold of the game, it's really worth playing.
There's something about. It's a bit weird. It was the same, this before we go into the show. As a child of the 80s, early 90s, there was something a bit more special back then about getting a new computer game.
Yeah.
Whereas now, I've not upgraded to the PS4 yet. I will eventually, I'm sure. But getting a new game is kind of like, it's a new game. It's not the kind of the thrill.
No.
Of even back when I had an Amstrad CPC 464, getting a new cassette tape from Boots of all places, because that's the only places that had them near us. Getting that back and playing, or getting a new Amiga game when an official one. Not most people only had copied games on the Amiga, admittedly.
That's
But
true.
when it was a bought game, like in a huge box, like Mortal Kombat 2, I remember getting that, and how exciting it was, getting a new game and the smell of the new game in the box and everything. And I don't know, it's just
The thriving playground black market of Amiga games of the early 90s.
God knows
But,
how Ocean made any money. The games company.
It's weird. I was talking about old computers at work today, old computer games, and also we touched upon it in the Chocky episode where the kids take half an hour to load a game up. But how when it was on sort of old audio cassettes, when a game was on a cassette, and it took half an hour to play the tape through and load the game.
Yeah.
And you'd sort of just might as well go out and play.
Yeah.
While you wait for it to load, and then you'd come back and it'd inevitably have crashed. So you have to rewind the tape and do it again, and maybe play for 10 minutes and then turn it off.
Yeah, I mean, the game I remember most for doing that on my Amstrad was RoboCop, which was a great game.
Had the theme as well, didn't it? Had the iconic theme on that. Yeah.
And also the other music it had was that. I'm going to sample this. But it was a great game. But if it didn't
offer that as a ringtone.
I might. But if it didn't load, and you came back, and then I would find myself sitting there by it, reading comics or something, as if watching it might help. But and then it would crash, and you'd inevitably come back and just bung Chucky Egg in instead because it took a minute.
Old reliable Chucky Egg,
or Rampage, or Harrier Attack. Those were the 3-minute games I had.
So of the Legend of Zelda games, then, just because we'll do a bit of talk about the games, we might as well. It's better than the episode. So you obviously Link's Awakening on the Game Boy. What other experiences did you have with Zelda games?
What sexual experience?
Any experience that you want to share?
Well, the Game Boy cartridge was small enough to not that many actually. It was pretty.
Did you play on the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System? Did you ever play any of those at all?
Not when I was younger, because obviously you had the Super Nintendo and you had the Link to the Past, wasn't it?
Yeah, Link to the Past. Yeah.
And I played it a bit, but because obviously going around a friend's house, it's not the kind of game you can play when you go around a friend's house.
No, it's a
solitary
really
affair, isn't it?
Yeah.
We would obviously play Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo or Super Mario Kart, or Killer Instinct.
Killer Instinct.
Oh,
well, that was that wasn't Super Nintendo though, was it? Killer Instinct.
It was.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Killer Instinct was Super Nintendo. Oh, now I'm doubting myself. No, Fighter's Destiny was the next one up.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Bloody terrible that was, really, but quite fun. But anyway,
I never played the NES, either of the NES Zelda games.
But I remember watching you play the Super Nintendo one, and then I have played it since on my Super Nintendo emulator on my PSP, and really loved it. But I never played. I remember I never played Ocarina of Time, but we both defeated Ganon.
Together.
Together, we kind of took it in turns, didn't we, to beat Ganon?
And there was a glitch. The only reason that he was defeated was because I ran at Ganon between his legs and hacked, so he couldn't reach, and my sword was just long enough to reach his tail, which is his weak spot. So I just kept hammering the button, spamming
that's how we did it.
That's how we did it, and it was just a bollocks. This is taking too long, and then found that it was like, hang on, he's not hurting me. This is how I'll do it.
This is how I'll do it.
And and I've played that since on the 3DS as well, like the version of that, and I played Link to the Past on the, I don't know if that was a DS version, or if it was a Game Boy Advance version. I think it was Game Boy Advance sort of re-release of that. But no, I've never played the game that this series is based on.
So which game is this? Is this on?
As far as I can tell, it's based on. I think it's set between the first two original games, or it's more about the first game. From what I can tell, it seems to be from dialogue in the episode. It seems to be after the first game because he's a bit bored. There's nothing to do anymore. He's been the hero. And he's sort of hanging around. But I don't know. It's difficult to establish. But I'm pretty sure that's the case, that it's after the first game.
Well, but I mean, the only game I've played through, I'd say, is the Game Boy one.
You've played on the Wii though. You played
Skyward Sword. That
which
was
I
really
never
good.
did. Yeah.
I suppose it's like any game on the Wii. It's a bit too cartoony. Is not the right word.
It's that cell shaded look, hasn't it? That one. Or...
No,
Is it not?
no, it didn't. It was quite chunky
No, I'm thinking
and
of the
kind
other
of.
one.
You're thinking of the Wind Waker.
Yes, that's what I'm
Maybe.
thinking of. Yeah.
It was good though because you had the Wii remote and the nunchuck were your sword and shield. So you kind of push down the Z trigger and that would be your shield, and then you're using the Wii controller as your sword. And depending on how you move the sword, obviously he would move it in the same way, and that was quite a nice and intuitive combat system.
Yeah.
I never completed it though, because they are quite big games, and my attention span is not great with that. That's why I'm never ever going to complete a GTA.
That's probably why there are so many fond memories between us for Link's Awakening, because
we were playing it at the same time. We were kind of giving each, because it was long before the internet, so you couldn't just look up how to do something.
No.
And I remember one of us got a guide in a magazine, and I don't know who it was, whether it was you or me.
I don't remember.
We were kind of swapping when we met up. Oh, this is how you do that. Like get the claw, how you learn how to jump, or the glove to throw pots and all that kind of thing. So it was a fantastic game.
But I know I've completed that several times because I remember memorising the rhythm of the final form of... It's not Ganon in that, is it? It's something,
I don't know, I can't
different.
remember. I can't remember.
It takes
a
the
long
form
time.
of Ganon. But yeah, and Twilight Princess I played, which is, again, the Wii controller where you swing the nunchuck as the sword.
I think it's a bit more of a serious look to it than
and I don't know
Sword.
if you've watched any of the Wii U gameplay videos for the upcoming Zelda.
I haven't.
Yeah, that looks amazing. Actually,
Yeah.
the size of the world, it's still got that slight. It's the more realistic take, but a slight cell shaded look. But the way that the grass blows in the wind.
Next gen, is it? It's certainly not next gen, but it's not.
It's
previous
the one
gen.
game that is actually making me seriously consider whether I might buy a Wii U. Just because I do love the Zelda games, and I would like to play the next step up in that, you know. But yeah, that we've been talking about Zelda's highlights, and we're about to watch probably the lowest light possible that could have been attached to this franchise. So I think
so just to warn anyone listening, this is not good.
It is bloody awful.
Unlike Super Gran, I have watched this. It's relatively short as well.
It's only very short, isn't it? It's what's the running time on this one?
Still not short enough.
No, it couldn't have been short enough, unless it had a -minute running time.
Well, excuse me, princess.
And there'll be a lot of that.
A lot of that. Because, in all the games, that is his catchphrase.
That is, he'll walk into a shop and start talking to a character and just say, "Excuse me, princess," to anybody, even people who are not royalty.
Or even if there's no one there.
Just to himself.
Just to
rocking
himself.
in a corner.
Oh, so right, are we ready to watch?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, 3, 2, 1, excuse me, princess.
So there you go. Hey, paisanos, it's the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Which is, I mean...
And fantastic rap intro.
The one playing Luigi looks like he's dying.
There were live-action segments, weren't there, with those two guys in between?
There were, yeah.
The cartoons.
You'd think they'd at least come up with a dance routine, so they were both doing the same thing, though, wouldn't you?
Well, they do, because as the end credits will tell you, there's a very specific way to do the Mario.
Oh, of course, I forgot about that.
Which we'll get back to when
Mario.
we are talked
Swing
through the
your
dance.
Hips from side to side. Come on, it's fun. Come on, do the Mario.
That's basically it.
That is basically it, isn't it? Oh my god.
It's not sort of time warp level of complexity, but there are instructions. So yes, this is the Legend of Zelda. Promising intro. You think, oh yeah, that looks like Link.
Yeah. Well, that looks like Ganon. There's a Triforce.
So now I had to look this up because I was all ready to make sarcastic comments about how it's the Triforce, but there's only two. and now there should be 3. Because in later games,
Oh, yeah, that's the point.
it's the Triforce of Courage, the Triforce of Power, and the Triforce of Wisdom. And in this, I think it's, what is it, Wisdom and Power are the 2 in this one. But then I did look it up, and in the first game, apparently there are only 2. So they are technically game accurate in that.
Is Shord? I found it a Sean Connery. His Shord is shooting lasers. Is sort of shooting lasers. What's that about? I don't remember that in the game.
It definitely did that in A Link to the Past, because when you got the Master Sword and you were fully charged up, it could fire a beam, yeah. I don't know, I guess it must happen in the original game as well.
I don't remember that.
The music is brilliant. I love the Zelda theme. It's a classic bit of music.
The animation is awful, though.
It is.
It reminds me of, not so much actually in the episode, but the opening credits, which are pretty much just clips from this episode anyway.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the very cheap animated version of The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I don't think I've seen that, no.
No, it's shit. Don't bother watching it. But it's... I remember
one thumb down from us.
One thumb on the floor, being trodden on. It does amuse me how the bad guys get into his room
very easily.
And also, he's basically a sex pest.
He is a sex pest. I was far too proud of my comment to you the other day about how there should Operation U Tree should be involved, but not Operation U Tree, Operation Deku Tree.
Yeah,
which
is
is
very good joke.
Only funny if you've played Ocarina of Time.
Well, excuse me, princess. I was looking at your tits.
It's basically what he was doing. She does cover up her chest.
He's in a tower, and they just climb up through the floor.
Yeah, very easy to get to that part of the Triforce.
It really is.
Just looking up his dress there.
They're not fighters, are they? These things.
Not really. See, also, it's Link's awakening that if I hear moblins, in my head I always hear moblins, because the first time somebody says it, well, that's the first time I'd heard the word in one of the games. And it's said with a stutter by a character. I can't remember who says it.
Maybe they should have said that when he's got the sheet over him, one of the moblins. Ghost, moblin. Oh god.
Bit of sword play, bit of weak sword play.
Very weak sword play.
Some pots being smashed though. That's game accurate.
That is game accurate. If he'd thrown them at a shopkeeper who didn't react, that would have been even more.
Smashing pots and attacking chickens are probably one of the biggest pursuits of the casual Zelda player.
Very casual. He's very limber.
Well,
I'm not
flying there.
Yeah, I'm not excited by it.
No. He's done almost a spin attack, but not quite. And then they don't just disintegrate. They seem to get transported when he shoots them somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, it's got to be kid friendly,
I suppose.
Now I have a bow and arrow. Ho, ho, ho. The sword is really small.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that's some sort of indication of his manhood, but I think he does overcompensate with his sexual advances.
He does.
Look at that, he just, when he opens the door. Whoa, give us a kiss, love.
Yeah.
Excuse me, princess.
Very much a sex pest.
He really is a sex pest. Dirty, dirty sex pest. Dirty, dirty Jimmy Savile. Actually, he's about the same age, I suppose, so... I suppose
there
it's
was
allowable.
There was a good example of the "excuse me, princess" catchphrase.
Yeah.
That we just missed.
Well, I don't think we missed it. He says it quite enough times.
He seems to be obliged to say it every minute or two.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, Link, I'm sorry.
It was probably in his contract. So are they elves or what?
I think it's different in every game, isn't it? There's a very confusing timeline to all the Zelda games. There's a timeline where Link is defeated. There's a timeline where he goes back in time and I don't know, lives it all again. There's so much. I do quite want to have a look at the is it Hyrule Historia, is that what that big book's called? It's sort of
no
artwork
idea.
from the games and just a lot of the different timelines and stories and things that are just in a lovely big hardback book that I can't justify buying and don't have shelf space for, but I would like to own.
Just buy it. Just do it.
Just do it.
I think Ganon's a pretty cool design.
But he's very different to other Ganons that I've seen in the games.
Yeah, definitely to Ocarina of Time.
But also, that happens with the Super Mario Brothers games, doesn't it? Because it's always, as far as I know, it's always been Bowser in the
Yeah, it
games.
is. Yeah, and it's
And
King
then the
Koopa,
cartoons, they changed his design and called him King Koopa
Yeah.
for no good reason.
I think the best change was the live-action version of Super Mario
Yeah, of
Bros.
course. Definitely.
With Dennis Hopper.
Do you think that film would have been better or worse if John Leguizamo had grown a massive moustache?
I think it would have been better if John Leguizamo had played the role on his knees as a big fat clown.
That's how he does all his best work.
That's how he does all his
Spawn,
best
the
work.
movie, the other things he's been in.
Land of the Dead. I can't think of anything
Is
else.
he in Priscilla, Queen of the Desert?
Probably.
On his knees, dressed as a clown.
On his knees dressed as a clown. Doing things that people on their knees dressed as a clown would do. I can't think of anything else John Leguizamo's been in. I'm sure he's been in other things.
He must have been.
That's gonna
I
be
won't IMDb
possibly
it out of principle.
No. We all know where that leads.
It'll just lead back to Carol, drink water.
It will lead back to Cambridge. Oh dear Lord.
This is almost like a sort of Robin Hood style plot. You know,
It is really. I did think that when I was
gone in
watching
disguise.
it. The wizards though at this wizarding festival, they're all a bit shit. Like
There's
the tomato
potential.
guy. There's potential with the tomato guy, but not if he can't. He can't grow a tomato bigger than it would naturally grow. It would seem in
No, without it exploding.
because it explodes when it gets to normal, like slightly above normal size. And also, I think they would suspect something when this mysterious reptilian-looking man gets
When a
carried in.
Ganon-shaped character hiding his face, who sounds like Ganon, turns up.
Yeah, and then kills a bird. Because this is all with everything he does is within their eye shot, which isn't a thing.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. It's kind of
Yeah,
you know, why are they just not paying closer attention?
he's done basically an evil trick there by turning a bird into a bat.
Yeah,
That's stereotypical evil right there.
and then the bat knows exactly where to go.
And this guy's come dressed as Presto from Dungeons and Dragons.
He really has.
How can I get Zelda to pay more attention to me?
And the bat just kind of flies into the window, finds it straight away. Doesn't know where to go. Is that fairy? What's the fairy called? In this?
Sprite, I think, in this.
Is that the one that follows you around in some of the games?
No, in Ocarina of Time, it's Navi.
Oh, Navi.
Hey, look out! Listen! Hey! Listen!
Navi was really
Listen!
Navi was really annoying in Skyward Sword as well.
There are some brilliant videos on YouTube. If you look up Link and Navi cosplay and watch how girls who dress up as Navi take it so seriously that they harass guys dressed as Link,
Really?
buzzing around them, saying, "Hey, listen! Listen! Look out! Look out!"
That is quite cool.
And
I quite like
they
that.
throw themselves so into the role that you wouldn't want to be there, but it's fun to watch for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
I suppose it's one of the dangers of going dressed as Link, really.
Well,
Just
yeah.
look out for mental women dressed as a tiny fairy.
You just turn around and say, "Look, I've come as Robin Hood. Leave me alone." But the plan was to, rather than the bat just taking the Triforce, which I think would have been fine, was to get
Yeah.
Link to come out and fight a dragon.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a rubbish plan, really.
The also thinking about the fairy seems to have a thing for Link, which, if they ever had a physical relationship, would be horrific.
He would destroy her.
He literally would destroy her. No matter how much he's overcompensating, he would destroy her.
Oh,
Doing here?
dirty old fairy stuff.
No, there's an image. But
No, there's
I
an
wish
image
I hadn't brought
for you
up.
to mock up for when this episode goes
I am
on.
not mocking that up. I'll just let everybody imagine their own version of that. It'll be far worse than anything I could draw.
Yeah. Oh, the reveal, it's Ganon. How did we not know?
Did he just come in the window? Because
Yes,
did I
he
miss
did.
him going in the window?
No, he definitely did a come in the window. He was thinking about what you just said. Yeah, he came through the window.
Can he fly?
I don't know, he's a fucking pig, isn't he?
There
An
you
angry
go.
one. He's going to jump out the window,
There he goes.
flattening his skeletons. I don't know.
Are they called Stalfos?
Oh, I don't know. Merlin should help him out though. He's right there. This
Ganon's
is
got the
mixed-
Triforce, and he's getting away. They say he's watching him get away.
Oi, Merlin, do some magic.
Don't make it explode now.
I forgot what he does.
I think he's supposed to grow the seed so that the ground
This-
shakes, or no, I don't know. No, she makes a big catapult, that's right.
That's it. Yeah. What a stupid plan. It's really
And
that's
then
the
his
best.
mouth doesn't move when he says that line.
What would have been funny is as it was catapulting, the tree exploded.
Killing them all.
And I think the landing would probably kill them.
It looks like it's
But then I
it's
guess technically they're supernatural beings, so that maybe the laws of physics don't apply to them.
I don't know if it was implied though that the trees just slowed their fall a little bit.
Kiss me.
Look out!
He's just the sex pest straight away. Kiss me.
Anyway, give me a kiss. Oh dear. And here comes Ganon. He's going to shoot him with his sword because, gun swords are cool. Ganon's rubbish. If he's such a kind of a dark wizard, why don't you just use some of his shit hot magic on him?
If he could change a bird into a bat, he could surely just change Link into a stone or something, or just
turd.
kill him, or just set him on fire. Make him
Set
go on fire.
Make him go on fire. Link. Hang on,
And then
what's
just
taking
takes his belt off, which was really worrying. I didn't know what was happening when I first saw that.
beating her. Excuse me, princess. Why have they belted themselves together?
It's a very bad fight plan.
It is. And why is he even bothering to do anything but shoot them with his sword?
Yeah, exactly, from a long way away.
Yeah. This is one of the worst things my eyes have ever seen.
And he's showing him how to fight there for far too long.
Yeah, and I mean, my eyes have seen stuff in the back of our van, so
Exactly. Magic bow.
it's rubbish. Ganon is so crap. This is so crap. Why are you watching this?
Oh,
I
we're
was
nearly
shouting at
there.
a skeleton. Why is it a skeleton's fault? Why's he got a fucking bomb up his vest? What's going on? What is
got
going
that.
on?
That weird, I don't know, like interdimensional space where they can carry more than they should be able to. The same as Link had that weird pouch in his bag where he could cram a bow without it showing
Yeah, true.
as being in there.
Well, excuse me, Ganon.
Poorly judged plan, because that would more than likely just have caved it in and lost the Triforce forever,
Yeah, well, that's how
instead
they
of
just
blowing
floats
it back out.
That's a bit like Chucky.
It is.
We try and do callbacks as often as possible. Now
Get
let me
this
take
belt off.
Yeah, look at him. He can grab
This
it
is
arms.
wrong.
Look, just touch it.
That's what he might as well be saying.
It might as well be. Oh, hang on.
And then she just gives in. That's a terrible message.
That's a terrible message. No means yes, essentially. Doesn't it? in
That
this
is
world?
what Nintendo want us to believe.
Yeah. Hey, stop it.
Right.
And he rolls her up and shoves her up at... No.
Oh dear.
Close.
There's nothing worse than a jealous fairy.
And then he just, with his fingers, indicated why he overcompensates.
Well, this is still going. Okay.
Still a thing that's happening. But we're going to get an instruction video on how to do the Mario now, so pay attention.
Here we go any minute.
with the best singer in the world.
Oh, the dance music.
Swing your arms from side to side. Do the Mario.
Is that really? I don't think that's a thing.
It is. Look, it's
Why?
clearly a thing. He's doing it.
Why are the rocks from a Roadrunner cartoon strewn around in the background?
Why is he just teleporting randomly on them?
He's Mario, bitch.
They haven't thought it through. If there were pipes, at least he could be going up and down the pipes. But he's not. He's just appearing in the Roadrunner background.
What you've got to remember is this man got paid for this.
I hope he didn't.
His moves are inconsistent, and he stumbles at the end.
And that end stumble is, and that was from The Incredible World of Dick, which sums everything up
it was
that we've
a
just
complete
watched.
load of dick, literally. Wow, that was shockingly shit.
A shame, and also it does have a lingering presence.
Taste. Oh yeah.
Aftertaste. That's fairies for you. It does have a lingering presence in the world of Zelda, because that is very often quoted, isn't it? "Excuse me, princess" is often quoted when people are talking about The Legend of Zelda. So it obviously did. It obviously did have an influence on people. It lingered longer than it should have done, because I don't think it had more than one season.
Was that in? Would that have been at the same time as that terrible Philips CDI version of Zelda, the one with the full motion video?
It could have been, because that would be about the same level of animation as well.
Well, yeah, look, that's what I'm starting to think, because it looks very similar in places.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was around the same time. I could look it up. Shall I?
if you like. I mean,
right.
it's one of those. It's a lot of games I haven't played from that era, but a lot of games I know about because of things like Guru Larry and videos like that on YouTube, where just watching people play old games.
Yeah.
Or talking about old games, like Night Trap, things like that.
Oh God, I've just done a quick Google search for CDI, and the animation was worse on that than in that.
Oh really?
That episode, a lot worse. Yeah.
I find that hard to stomach, much like the episode.
Yeah. But in one of the
And
stills,
licorice.
one of the stills that comes up when you do search for it on Google does make him look like even more of a sex pest than he does in that cartoon. So.
Has he got it out through a window?
No, he's doing a weird. He's got his hand over his mouth, and he's doing a very weird, like grin. Like it's very creepy.
I think he's got his hand over her mouth.
No, that animation was before, because this CDI version was apparently released in '93.
Oh my god, there is no excuse for that at all.
Oh wait, no, hang on. I don't know. Yeah, but it was early '90s anyway, '93 or '94, I think.
In the picture, has he got his hand over Zelda's mouth saying, "Well, don't scream, princess"?
I'll save the picture and I'll send it to you so that
Please.
you can add it
Please
to the
do.
video if you like.
I will delight in seeing it.
But yeah, so it's a shame that that cartoon does get remembered, but I think it's only really for that for that catchphrase.
Yeah.
And it does sour a lot of
The
other
milk.
Zelda, a lot of other Zelda, Zelda things, items, games. I don't know. It's late. I'm tired.
It is late. It's sullied all good memories I had of any Zelda merchandise. They're making a live action show, aren't they?
Really?
Yeah, I'm sure. Where did I read that?
Is it going to be like a Netflix thing?
I think
or-
so. Yeah, I'm sure I read
that
somewhere.
might be good. I would. Well, having now watched Daredevil, I've got a lot of hope for everything Netflix produce now.
Yeah, they're kind of Marvel and Netflix are doing no wrong.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to see, if this is going off topic, but how the Jessica Jones and other series they're working on come out actually.
Definitely, yeah. It's all about the showrunners and things, I think, as well, and
Yeah.
the fact that they can take their time, they can tell a complete story.
Yeah, so there's
helps
no
a lot.
like villain of the week kind of stuff going on. It's an overbearing, overarching story, which is quite nice. So
And
yeah,
you can-
Zelda in that format would be really good, but depending on how they do it, obviously.
I hope they adapt that script that we just watched and spread it out over 13 episodes.
I want a T-shirt that says "Well, excuse me, princess" on it.
I bet they exist.
Probably do.
I
But
bet you can get several
you think about
versions.
fantasy shows on TV. I mean, I know you don't watch Game of Thrones, but the kind of the scope they have now with CG and everything, they could do something really impressive with it.
And
Or it could be like Sony Television's Powers, which is crap.
I haven't. I think you put me off wanting to watch it. I
Oh,
did want to
it's
give it
terrible.
a chance, but yeah, you're. I think you probably give me a one-word review,
Yeah.
and that sort of
Maybe it got better, but the reviews I've read of follow-up episodes were not good. And after the first one, I thought this whole thing is completely miscast. So.
Exactly that's the main impression I got from seeing cast photos. I just remember thinking, really, like there's nobody in that image that of the whole cast together that I would have said yes, that is a good choice.
No. It's the one time when actually the original cast member was going to be Jason Patrick as Christian Walker.
See, that works.
It's the one time I think, I wish Jason Patrick had been in something.
So, has the Zelda show been cast, or is it just?
I don't know. I was just trying to look it up quickly, but
because who would you cast as a live-action Link?
probably Jason Patrick, just so he has another chance. I can't find anything now. I thought I might be able to find something quickly, but I'm sure I read somewhere they were at least talking about it.
I would give it a watch. I think even if it didn't have a good review, I would give it an episode.
Yeah.
Because I do. I just think
it's
there's
Netflix.
a lot to mine in that. Is it? Oh, brilliant.
Netflix. Netflix is set to make an original television series out of Legend of Zelda. Oh, hang on.
This is April Fool's, is it?
No, it's in February, but then it says
Okay.
update Nintendo quash the Legend of Zelda Netflix rumour. Apparently.
Oh, boo.
So, yeah, what I read was obviously a while ago.
And maybe the first episode was called "Excuse Me, Princess," and they said no.
We want to get rid of all memories of that show. Maybe take it off YouTube then, but not before I've downloaded it ready to edit into the video.
I think it is something that the Legend of Zelda is sort of stuck with, really, that catchphrase.
Yeah.
In
It's a
that
good
ironic way, people use it because it was so bad that it's just the memory stays with you, doesn't it?
I think a better catchphrase would have been, I'm going to shoot you with my laser sword. Pew pew. That would have been a better catchphrase. And that's what I want on a t-shirt.
So if you would like a range of When Wagon Wheels Were Bigger t-shirts, and you would like to see us create that t-shirt,
Maybe
tweet
make a
us.
suggestion. I think maybe
At Spread the Whimsy.
another catchphrase for Link would have been, don't scream, you'll only make it worse. Don't look at my face.
I just think a picture of Link with fairy fucker written under it would...
Oh dear Lord.
So,
I've shoved
yeah,
that fairy up my arse. Sorry, ass. 'Cause, this is an American broadcast. Dirty Link.
I think you've lost me. Yeah, so that's...
That was Legend of Zelda.
You didn't... you haven't identified the Scrappy Doo.
Oh, it's fucking Link in it.
My favourite times that you don't are when I know damn well who it is.
I don't have to say. And before you ask, there's no favourite character. The whole thing was shit. A big pile of bum shit that's come out of a bum. And like, some of it's gone on the floor and someone stood in it and it's kind of been trodden around the house. And the cat's come in and eaten a bit. And then done a sec. And then that's been trod around the house as well. That's what that show was to me. And then your mum's coming and going, oh Mark, what have you done? And you go, it's Legend of Zelda's fault. So, the whole last 10 minutes of this podcast is just laughing.
You're going to have to finish it on your own.
That's what she said. So, if you want to follow us on Twitter, basically it's a load of stuff like this. It's at Spread the Whimsy. We're on Facebook, facebook.com// too much.jam. Excuse the coughing.
Sorry.
That's our YouTube channel, which eventually have this podcast with the accompanying video, so you can watch them together if you can't be bothered to look them up separately, you lazy bastards.
But
And also
please do subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe. Please subscribe. And then obviously subscribe to this podcast if you're listening to it. But if you're listening to it, I'll assume you have subscribed. I don't know how it works.
If you're listening to it just randomly and you've been entertained, then subscribe. Listen to some earlier ones. You might understand some of the other things we were talking about halfway through.
And then maybe tell a friend, and then get that friend to tell a friend. But not if that friend is you, because that's just a perpetual circle of nothingness. So it's a bit pointless.
Yeah, have some friends and then tell them.
Have some friends. Make some friends. Tell some friends, those friends, and tell those new friends to tell some of the other friends if they're outside of that friend group that don't already know about it. And then that's how the word will spread. A bit like the word of our Lord Jesus. I'm not saying this is on the like an equivalent to the Bible.
Right, I think that'll do it for me.
Okay, that's good to know. Well, thanks for listening, everyone.
Yes, thank you for listening, especially the last couple of minutes. If you made it through my laughter, then thanks for sticking around.
And you're okay with us.
And join us again next week, and we'll watch something hopefully just as good as that.
Oh, fuck me, I hope so. Bye for now.
Thanks very much. Bye.